Hi Swans, so Lisa here. Mitch has asked me to put a bit of a video together just to talk to you guys about what it means from my perspective to be a Great Britain Swans player. So I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about my history with the Swans and yeah, what you guys should really look forward to as being part of the GB Swan squad as we work towards the International Cup next year. So in 2016, after we'd played for England for 2 years. Charlie Eales, captain at the moment, and myself were talking, and we were like, "Why is there not yet a Great Britain team? We should be putting one together for the women so that we can go to the International Cup with the men in 2017." So we put our heads together, and it took us a while to come up with a name as Swans. If it was Jen Bennett that had organised it, you probably would have been either the GB Gerbils or the GB Badgers. So luckily we ended up with the GB Swans, which I think has really fit nicely for the team. So digging through some old photos, I realised the first event that we had as the GB Swans was the 2016 AFL London Pre-Season Cup, which was possibly the muddiest tournament that any of us will ever have played in. It was impossible to get the ball out of the centre square because anytime the ball hit the floor, it was just getting stuck in about this much mud, and it was impossible to keep your hands clean because anywhere that you tried to clean your hands on your body was already covered in mud, including hair everywhere. And you can see so from this picture here where we are wearing our delightful first ever very large GB Swans kit. But nevertheless, we came out and we won a good start to all of our AFL London pre-season cup performances, and we showed that we would be a team to be in any competition, and was good preparation for the AFL Europe 2016 European Championships. We then got things going really quickly, did a few training camps, and got enough girls together for the 2016 European Championships that was in London that year as well. It was a fantastic atmosphere. So at that time, Garth was head coach, and obviously Mitch was an assistant coach at that time. And we also had the input of Sparky. And although again it was like a bit of a two-sided competition, it was still amazing for us to go out and play these 18-a-side games as the Great Britain Swans against Ireland and the European Crusaders. And obviously in the final we came away with a win against Ireland. And that just really kind of gave us a taste of what International Cup would be like, but really nothing can prepare you for how amazing the International Cup competition is. So in 2017, yeah, we obviously then did a couple of more training camps around the country and got the girls really, really fired up for the International Cup. And we had a fantastic squad that went out there alongside of the men. We all stayed together in a hotel. In pretty central Melbourne. The opening ceremony was unbelievable. There was all the different countries there in all their kits, and it was amazing to see players from South Africa, Japan, Fiji, and even the Pakistani girls. It was unbelievable. We went to an Essendon game for the sort of opening ceremony where we all walked around the MCG. We had our flags, there was cameras, and most of the people in the crowd didn't really actually know about it. They were a bit amused, but we found that so many people were asking us and they were fascinated and they wanted to come down to games. And so we kicked things off. We had 5 games. The first game was against Pakistan, which was an interesting way to come out, as Pakistan have never really played together before. But regardless, it was fantastic for us to come out the GB Swans team for the first time abroad, and it was in this area where there was 4 or 5 ovals. It's unbelievable when you're in Melbourne. You fly in and you see football ovals everywhere. It's just the most overwhelming thing, because obviously after we played our game against Pakistan, we had our next game against Fiji. We went out to a school in the peninsula, and it was unbelievable because the students had obviously been told to either be for Fiji or for Great Britain, and they'd even made banners for us to run through. It was such a hot game. The Fijian girls were so tough and so hard, but the best thing for me about that game was the way that we all stuck up for each other, because we knew we had to protect ourselves from the Fijian girls, and so there was a lot of shepherding and teamwork and bumping going on, and yeah, it was incredible. and there was a lot of sore bodies after that game, which a lot of work for our physios, but luckily we had a really good physio team that came out with us and looked after us all and made sure that we all did 10-minute ice baths at least after each game. So after we played against Fiji, we were coming up against the reigning champions, which was Canada. We went out to play at the Darebin Falcons ground, which again was really cool because there was a VFL women's game on before our game, so we got to watch that, and then we went out onto the field. Really tough game against Canada, and yeah, they got the chocolates over us on that day, but it was good for us to go against a really tough opponent, that, you know, the best game for us to challenge ourselves. After we played against Canada, we were second in our group of 5, as we'd won the 2 games against Pakistan and Fiji, and then unfortunately lost to Canada, which meant that we were up against Ireland in the semi-final. Obviously, we'd played against Ireland in the European Championships and beaten them, but we were very well aware that there was a lot of girls who were based in Australia that were playing on the Irish team that had been playing 18-a-side in Australia for a long time, including Laura Duray, who had played for the Melbourne Demons in the AFLW. So we knew it was going to be tough. However, we came out really strong, really hard, and we were winning for a lot of the game. However, unfortunately, just I think the Irish girls' stamina just stuck out longer than us, and they just got the win over us in the last quarter. Unfortunately, we were completely devastated because we were hoping that we could go and play in the final against Canada. However, I think it just really has spurred us on for 2020, when we want to be in that grand final and hopefully winning. But regardless, so we then played in the 3rd or 4th playoff, and I can tell you, in the warm-up for the 3rd, 4th playoff game, there was some broken bodies. Everyone was, exhausted. We've been training during the days off with our games. We've been going to football games, events, and yeah, obviously the games themselves can take their toll. But it's one of those feelings of, body pain and whatever, that you push through because you know that you're doing it for something that you love, and it was a great feeling. We went out it was on the big ground area where there was about 5 ovals, and there was lots of the last games of the tournament were happening, and we were up against the USA, who had lost out to Canada in their semi-final, and we didn't really know what to expect. We hadn't heard too much from the USA, but them being in the competition for the last couple of times, we knew that they were going to be a really tough opponent. However, we came out pretty strong. It was a pretty even contest for most of the game, and I know that we were only down by about 1 goal until the last sort of 10 minutes, and then Frankie scored an absolutely screaming goal from kicking it almost outside 50, which put us about 1 point on top. And then about 3 minutes from the end, Rania scored a goal from the goal square, and that kind of sealed it for us. And I've watched back the highlights of Rania scoring that last goal, and I get goosebumps every time I see it, because it was the most amazing feeling to know that we'd come 3rd out of 8 teams, even though that we were a debuting team and USA have been playing for a lot longer than us.
The freedom with 1.5 minutes left on the clock. They try to get something going. Ball goes to ground. Picked off by Salter. Throws that one in. Looking in the direction. Going after to get it is Chloe. It's a foot race. Staying with it in there is Wilson. Kept the ball in play. Centering ball. Throws it across. Ball game. Rania Ramadan has won the game for the GB Swans.
So amazing! I can't put into words how amazing that feeling was to win that game. And so, yeah, then we had the women's final was the next day on Etihad, and I was so jealous that they were playing on Etihad. The field was just, the quality of the field was amazing. The quality of the game was awesome, and that's always going to be in my mind and any of the girls that played in 2017, that we just missed out on that chance to play on Etihad, and we want to make sure that we're there next year, which means lots and lots of hard work. So myself, obviously, a lot of you will know that I've been struggling with a knee injury for the last year and a bit. I'm now nearly 3 months post-operation for an ACL reconstruction, and my meniscus was also stitched. So it's been really, really hard work. However, I have been doing lots of coaching here in Germany instead, and I can tell you that the coaching, even though I'm not playing, is definitely going to improve my game when I get back onto the field, because I'm just learning so much more about positioning on the field, how to optimize on skills of other players, and how to look at the opponents and how to work against those. And I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys, and what I've learned through that process of doing some extra coaching. And also a hot topic for me then is injury prevention and strength training. And you will have seen that I've posted some things in the WhatsApp group and in the Facebook group about injury prevention and what you guys should all be doing. Obviously, we've got a couple of physios in the team, especially Chloe, and we also have our physio team, and we should be seeking advice for them if we're unsure about what we should be doing for physio training and strength training. But I can tell you, if you think injury prevention is boring or strength training is boring, I'm telling you, it's not as boring as how boring it is after you've had an ACL reconstruction and you're spending hours a day just trying to get your legs straight, because it doesn't want to be straight. So please, please, please hear me as an example, and there's plenty of other girls in the group that have been through the same thing as me. We don't want any more of you having this injury, so please do your injury prevention. Look at the Prep to Play videos and programs that the AFL have put together that are designed specifically for women, and do them. I promise you they will help. I can already see with my players that it's helping them, because it has elements of focusing on direction changing, deceleration, landing, and that's all the things that are really important, and those are the ways that people are getting injured. So, I will be in London for the European Championships. However, I will be the assistant coach for the German Eagles team. So I am excited to watch you guys play, but at the same time, it's going to be a bit of a mixed emotion of who I want to win. However, I will, for this tournament, my focus will be on the German Eagles, and really from the position that I'm in, I want to see strengthening in Europe, and if Germany and Great Britain can work together in terms of strengthening them both, so that when we come up against Canada, USA and New Zealand, who are going to be very strong when we go there, then we will have made each other stronger to take them on, and that's how I'm looking at it. So no rivalry there in that sense. I just want the European teams to be as strong as possible. So if you ever have any questions about injury prevention or positioning, especially if you're playing in the halfback, or any skills training or anything, please come to me. I really love to hear from you if you want to learn, and I've always got time to give for anyone who wants to learn more about the sport. So thank you for listening, if anyone did listen to all the way through, and I look forward to seeing you all in London.